Hello, this is Patrick Barnard in Montreal. It is Friday, April 18, 2025, Good Friday on this Easter weekend, and this is the 12th International Press Review. It is Easter weekend 2025, and this edition of the International Press Review will begin with the story of an extraordinary man. He's a pediatrician, a Palestinian pediatrician. His name is Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya. And just to get this started, because we're going to use items from the press, let's look at a small clip from Turkish radio and television, that's the state broadcaster in Turkey, describing this extraordinary man.
This is Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya walking towards an Israeli tank in Gaza before he was arrested, an act that has become one of the symbols of Palestinian resistance, with his ensuing detention by Israeli forces igniting a global outcry as people around the world demand his immediate release. But before that moment, Dr. Abu Safiya was the lifeline and director of Kamal Adwan Hospital in the besieged Palestinian enclave. The hospital, one of the few remaining standing in northern Gaza amid relentless Israeli bombardment, became a sanctuary of care in a small region under siege. Amid constant Israeli airstrikes, Dr. Abu Safiya led his team, performing surgeries, administering care, and offering hope to those injured in the continuous attacks. As bombs rained down on the hospital, Dr. Abu Safiya stood firm at the heart of it all, tirelessly leading his team to provide critical care to the injured, even with a near-total scarcity of resources.
The voice you've just heard belongs to Sama Hourani. She produced and narrated that piece for Turkish radio and television on Dr. Abu Safiya. The experience of Dr. Abu Safiya is so important because it has drawn international attention to the terrible conditions of Palestinian prisoners. I'm holding here in front of me two reports, recent reports from Middle East Eye, which is an information source based in London. There have been two reports in recent days in Middle East Eye by the same reporter, Meru Al-Adam, and I'm going to read to you from the second one. Here it is. The title itself is Revealing Gaza Hospital Chief Recounts Torture and Isolation in Israeli Detention. Hussam Abu Safiya's lawyer details extreme violations in prisons, such as forced amputations, starvation, and psychological torment. The principal source for the reports in Middle East Eye is a brave young Palestinian lawyer, a woman called Gid Kassem. She was able to visit Dr. Abu Safiya on 3 occasions in the last months. The hospital where he worked was invaded by Israeli soldiers. It is said that they set it on fire in December of 2024. At the end of that month, it's now April 2025. Gid Kassem said, quote, "The longest period of interrogation that Abu Safiya endured was 13 consecutive days, with each session lasting between 8 to 10 hours, close quote." The lawyer has been shocked by what she's been told, very deeply stirred by it, as she says. She says that Palestinian prisoners were forced to take part in acts that the doctor described as things that would be morally denounced worldwide if they were known about. Kassem says, "I have met not one prisoner last week, unfortunately, who was not beaten or assaulted. Starvation is increasing, the torture is increasing, the isolation from the outside world is increasing." Nearly 10,000 Palestinians are held in Israeli jails or detention centers. Many of these people have not had charges brought against them. That is the case with the good doctor. The lawyer, Gid Kassem, gave an interview recently to the Palestinian media outlet Sahat. Let's listen to a bit of that. I will provide an English rendering of what she is saying as soon as we hear this interview from her.
سياسة تكسير العظام، تكسير الأضلاع، الاعتداء على الأعضاء التناسلية أو الجنسية. المقاتل غير شرعي. المقاتل غير شرعي يعني ما في محاكمة، يعني ما في حقوق لأسرى حرب حسب اتفاقية جنيف، يعني في عندك ملف سري اللي احنا المحامي ما بيقدر يطلع عليه. مقاتل غير شرعي يعني هو ما في له شرعية أساس، فبالتالي بيكون حتى ظروف الحياتية أو ظروف الاعتقال داخل السجون هي بتكون لا إنسانية بحت. وهذا الإشي اللي حتى مفروض يعني اللي بيمنع حتى التواصل المباشر ما بين المحامي وما بين المعتقل نفسه.
The subtitles in this report with the remarks of Gid Kassem are too difficult to read, so I'm going to tell you what they say. She describes sexual assaults, beatings, a policy of breaking bones, breaking ribs, beating reproductive or sexual organs. She also talks about the status of illegal combatant. That's what the good doctor is. Illegal combatant, she says, means there's no trial, no rights of war for the prisoner like the Geneva Convention stipulates. There's a confidential file, in fact, on these people that not even the lawyer can access. Conditions are inhumane, she says, and that is why these prisoners are denied outside access.
Dr. Abu Safiya is also a father, and in late October 2024, the Israeli army stormed Kamal Adwan Hospital and arrested him. And it wasn't until he was released that he discovered his son, Ibrahim, had been killed by the Israeli army. While facing unspeakable grief, Dr. Abu Safiya found the strength to lead his son's funeral as an imam, offering solace to others while grappling with his own loss and pain.
كل شيء فقدناه في هذا المستشفى، حتى أبنائنا. كل شيء عملنا حرقوا قلوبنا.
Despite his personal tragedy, he chose to continue his humanitarian mission, treating patients amid the escalating Israeli violence in northern Gaza, particularly at the hospital. On December 27, 2024, Israeli forces raided Kamal Adwan Hospital, detaining Dr. Abu Safiya along with other medical staff and patients. This assault forced the hospital, the last major medical facility in northern Gaza, to cease operations. Following his arrest, reports emerged that Dr. Abu Safiya was being subjected to severe torture and inhumane treatment during his detention. He endured prolonged solitary confinement and continuous interrogation, leading to severe health issues, including loss of consciousness due to breathing difficulties. The Palestinian Al-Mizan Center for Human Rights stated that its lawyer had visited Dr. Abu Safiya at Israel's Offer prison on February 11, 2025, and documented evidence that he had been subjected to torture and ill treatment. His detention and alleged mistreatment have sparked global protest and widespread condemnation.
That is the voice again of Sama Hourani of Turkish radio and television. Concerns are growing once again for the health of Dr. Abu Safiya. Why? Because there are reports that he was hit by a very heavy rod somewhere in the shoulder or head area. Very concerning. That's why Mideast Eye is reporting about him now, I think. And this is the end of Easter weekend, and Pope Francis is now dead. That is significant because he was an important figure for the Palestinian people. So we're going to end this international press review with a tremendous report for Al Jazeera, which was made by their correspondent, Zain Basravi, about Pope Francis.
When it came to the Palestinians, Pope Francis was arguably the most supportive pope in modern times. In the aftermath of October 2023, a little more than a month into the war in Gaza, he said what Israel was doing was terrorism, and the humanitarian crisis there could be considered a genocide.
This morning I received two delegations, one of Israelis who have relatives held hostage in the Gaza Strip, and another of Palestinians who have relatives imprisoned in Israel. They suffer so much, and I heard how both sides suffer. Wars do this, but we have gone beyond wars. This is not war. This is terrorism. Yesterday, children were bombed. This is cruelty. This is not war.
Pope Francis did not stop at words. He reached out directly to those suffering in Gaza with frequent video calls. Nearly every night since Israel's bombing campaign began, he called the Holy Family Church in Gaza, which sheltered hundreds of Christians and Muslims.
Salam alaikum.
The brief calls were a small but powerful gesture, the Vatican said, offering connection and hope amidst isolation. People in Gaza will remember Pope Francis for seeing their suffering clearly and speaking of it plainly. A rare moral voice rising above political calculation. Zain Basravi, Al Jazeera.